like a threat. And one of the things that can't be attacked is your self-custody Bitcoin. And one of the things that can be attacked is the ETF. You can't be exposed to that. That's my view. It's not a good idea. And by the way, that'll hit MSTR too. It'll probably hit other stuff as well. Friends and enemies, welcome back. Canadian Bitcoiners podcast.
Friends and enemies, welcome to the CBP. Want to be better informed? Listen to Len and Joey. Spots is taken care of right off the top. Oh, Bitcoin and easy DNS. The media is feeding the slop. It doesn't matter what topics discussed. Quality entertainment and information you can trust.
That's being planned or at least discussed. You know, we're not going to allow people to buy
entertainment and information you can trust. Send the guy some value, boost them with some stats. Bitcoin is a scarcity asset. I mean, it's just a fact. Geopolitical, national, down to the local cloud.
Friends and enemies, welcome back to the Canadian Bitcoiners podcast, where we have learned that Michael Burry is short Bitcoin, among other things. Palantir, Bitcoin. Lem, what's going on, buddy? Tell me about this. Why is this included in the show notes? I use it as a title. This is the most clickbaity title I think we've ever used.
Well, there you go. I put it in so it makes you the opportunity to make that clickbait title. Did you put the fire in the background?
No, I didn't.
Explosions going off.
Just to pick up Mike's face and
arrows,
some other stuff.
No. Shit pointing off.
No. I would never. I did want to listen to the interview because you know what I mean? Like he hasn't spoken, I think, in like 10 or 12 years minimum, right?
Save this for this.
Yeah, okay. What's going on? How the heck are you? How are things?
Yeah. It's good, man. Just fucking tired, but cold too. Very cold. Yeah. But what about you?
I'm good, man. It's a beautiful day here. I have a busy week. I'll be actually with Mark for dinner tomorrow. We have a Wayside event to attend with Steve Paikin, of all people. So I've had some criticisms for Steve recently about his Philippe Champagne video, but I like Steve Paikin. I think he's a pretty good commentator and good interviewer too. So I'm looking forward to sharing a night with him. It's
some feedback on his time with the Fan 590, or maybe I think it was a 1430 at the time. Him and Bruce Dobigan did a show where they paid the Fan to do a show. And so I think I'd like to hear more insight into it. Maybe you could.
Where is this bit of trivia coming from?
Where?
Yeah, how did you know that off the top of your head? Like, where did that come from? I know
Steve Paikin, and I used to listen back in the day. I was one of the original listeners before it even became All Sports. I was there the first day when it became All Sports. So I remember, and then shortly thereafter, I think it was 9:30 slot in the morning. Him and Bruce Dobigan, they had a show. Now, from what I understand, they paid. It's a type of infomercial to do. I'd like to know if that's the truth or not. And then what happened? They paid their way to get on. Obviously, then it didn't work out because they're no longer there. But I'd love to hear about more. Pick his brain, Joey. Get some information about that.
I'll find out if I can. Yeah, it's a Wayside event. So we're gonna have an interesting night there. Mark and I are gonna get together for a bite to eat, and then we'll see where the night goes. It's interesting. There's so much going on in Bitcoin, but doesn't it feel like we're not really? Does it feel like people are disengaged a bit online to you?
With Bitcoin particularly, or just in general?
Yeah, Bitcoin.
No, it seems to be. What are you expecting? Fireworks?
Drama? I don't know, honestly. It just feels like more people used to have valuable things to say, and now people are just posting dumb shit, myself included. I'm posting stuff about working out in the basement. So
there's a lot of people talking about important stuff. Like, for example, should extra data be included in the blocks?
Still a debate. Yeah, still a debate.
Right. And then that's the raging. Then you got these anonymous people coming out and trying to create alternatives and stuff. So it's just this is what's going on right now. It's been interesting to read this. I think something's funding that.
Yeah, let's get into the show here. Sponsors up front. EasyDNS, best place for you to buy, sell domains, host domains. You can do a lot of stuff with Mark and the team. We actually just sent a listener to the show, who I won't name, to Mark for some VPS services. He's building something very interesting and exciting in the GTA. We like that. And if you, listener, viewer, are building something interesting and exciting in the GTA, or if you just want a place to post pictures of your cat, Mark can help you with that too. Go there, easydns.com. Use the code CBP Media. Get 50% off your first round of buys. Don't forget, you can do a lot of stuff if you're a Bitcoin enthusiast as well. Virtual private server stuff, right? Like Nostr relays and Bitcoin nodes. Very, very fun. Not to mention Mark takes Bitcoin for his services, making the treasury strategy cool before Michael Saylor, which we appreciate on the show. So yeah, BTC Media is the code, half off. Head over. Don't wait.
Bull Bitcoin. Good place to good time to buy, good time to sell.
What's the price?
90,000 and change. So who knows? It's people may like to buy at that time, people like to sell at that time. Either way, Bull Bitcoin has you covered on chain, Lightning, a lot of different options, non-custodial. And if as a non-custodial exchange, you got options too. You could do your reoccurring buys, you could do your auto buys, you could do your limit orders. Name another non-custodial exchange that could do that. There's not many, if any, in the game that could do that.
Yeah.
And they're available in so many places like Canada, Mexico, and a few other countries in Western Europe. I don't want to get into everyone, but I would suggest if you haven't yet used them, what are you doing? These are the people you want to talk to. You can pay your bills with your Bitcoin. Lots of different options. They have your privacy in mind. The Bitcoin gets mixed before it gets sent to you. Open an account. Use our code below, which if you do that, then all your buys and sells forever will be a little bit cheaper. So do it now, right now.
Yeah, we like that. Don't forget that I said a few weeks ago, or you might have forgotten already, that we were going to give away a sweatshirt. And we never really talked about how we were going to give it away. I figure next week is the Christmas episode, right? Or is it the week after? Week after, maybe the 22nd. Yeah. On the 22nd, when we do the Hamilton, Brampton / other Canadian cities rivalry stories, sometime during that show, we will give away a Madex Bull Bitcoin hoodie, courtesy of Rishi, who's in the chat tonight. Too big for him, too big for me. Might be your size, though. I think it's an extra large, I think he said last week. So we'll give that away. CBP will cover shipping. Don't worry about that. We'll give it to someone in the chat. We'll find a way to make sure that we get that out. No sip and rip this week, only because I just did not have time. My wife went to a musical yesterday. And so I was a very busy dad all day long. But we will be back on schedule this week for the sip and rip, probably on Saturday. I want to talk about Elon against the European Union, because I don't think we're going to ever cover that on our show. And I think that's a very important story that needs to get more recognition from people. And you need to be equipped to talk about it over Christmas as well, of course. So I'll probably go heavy on that, among other things, on the next.
He's locking horns with them.
Sip and rip. Yeah, more than locking horns. This week on Wednesday, we have Tuan. Are you going to do that one?
I can. Yeah,
maybe you do it. I'll take a night off. And then if you haven't heard from Tuan before on this show or on Twitter or anywhere else, you ought to tune in. Tuan is a very smart guy, but maybe most importantly and most relevant to the Bitcoin space, he's the guy behind 256 Heat, which obviously sponsors this show. But on top of that, has produced nothing but high quality hash eaters for a while now. And we both have one. I know a bunch of people who listen to the show have bought one, and Tuan is grateful for that business. And to be honest with you, Len and I are too. He's always thinking about what's next, though, Len. And he's got a lot to say about the whole mining space, which should be an interesting show if people have not heard from him yet.
See, there's some couple of comments about the NDP, the comedy show they put on.
Did you watch John Davies? I mean, we talked about it. You said it was disappointing because the guy is really just fleecing the public, right? Making fun of how he didn't really fulfill his duty as a party leader. I actually agree with you. I still think the comedy itself was funny, but when you realize that really you're the one who's being made the punchline in the big picture, it kind of loses a bit of its luster.
It's very sad. In reality, it's very, very sad. But I wasn't expecting them to pull the trigger and cause an election. They don't have the funds. They don't have a leader. They just don't have the ability to do it right now. So they're going to do whatever they can to say that, yeah, we're against this, like the budget. But in reality, when it push comes to shove, they're not going to want to trigger an election, just like the other parties don't want to. I think the Bloc Québécois has been the only one that's been consistent when they want to call an election. Either way. It is what it is. Boost. Let's go with the boost. I got 4 boosts in particular I want to bring up this week. JR 500 sats. And he writes in another beauty. That was from a part 1 from last week.
Thanks, Jer.
Doug 525 sats. He says he's looking forward to the day when the UK isn't CBP's whipping boy. And you've got to wait another week because we're going to be whipping on them later on. He said, but on the plus side, the plan is to get a hybrid. Has gone straight out the window. 90s V8 all the way. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to find one that's not rust the heck, but if you can find something from the 90s, I like the Japanese cars from that era. The RX-7, the Supra, a lot of different really cool options that at least we didn't have available over here. The RX-7 we got it for a few years, but Supra, not the fun ones. Hammertown OG, 2,500 sats. I don't get this one. He says, I understand the message, but why are you saying it? He says, Leafs suck. Go Habs go. Joey and Len keep up the great work. What's with the Habs and Leafs comment? Were we talking about them at all? Like,
how about the Leafs catching a stray there? Nice. Love that. Love that for the Leafs. Hockey's already in full swing here. Obviously, it started in October, I think. Are the Leafs any good?
I don't know.
Me neither. Huh.
And Jer, 5,000 sats. Second time he's sending us sats this week. And he says, or writes in, how many sats will it take to get Joey and Len to the Sphere? Is that the Las Vegas Sphere? Or
yeah, it is. Yeah.
I don't know. There's a price. I'll be happy to go and check it. What am I gonna do over here? Just fucking look at it?
I don't know. No, he wants to put us. He wants to put us on the Sphere. What does it cost to put something on the Sphere?
Nah, it ain't worth it, man. It ain't fucking worth it.
It's $450,000 a day or $650,000 for the week, just to run a 90-second ad on the Sphere.
Sorry, because you said 450,000 for the day, but 600,000.
Yeah, 600K.
But 600,000 for the week. It's a steal to get it for the week, right? Because you're only paying an extra 200K to get.
I mean, it's a steal. I guess. I mean, it's a lot of money. That's Super Bowl money, basically, right? What's Super Bowl that cost? Is it about $1 million?
I think it's way more now.
I don't know. I have no idea.
But like if you're gonna part with what, like 6 Bitcoin, fuck that. 7 Bitcoin to get a week's worth. Fuck it. It ain't worth it.
Yeah, a lot of money. A lot of money. Keep donating. We'll see. We'll put one of those thermometers, fundraising thermometers, at the side of the stream. Track the money. The fucking thing will be there for decades.
All right, Joe. Any other things you want to talk about?
No, that's it. Let's roll. I just want one more thing. Someone wrote in the comments on Spotify that we spent too much time at the beginning of the show doing what we just did. So I don't necessarily disagree that the meat of the show doesn't start until about 12 minutes, 13 minutes. But consider that everybody is in the chat talking to each other at this point. I can see the numbers ramping up for the live viewers. Len and I have to do the boost and the sponsors and all that other stuff. Value is what you make it. And I think for people who want value, you could always just skip that stuff. I don't recommend it, but you could. I would suggest that you try and get involved in the first 12 minutes of the show somehow. Put a comment in, a boost, watch live, whatever. You'll find that you enjoy the first every week.
And like I said, the business cat, don't stream us sats, just fucking send us a boost. That's the best bang for the buck. And yeah. Michael Burry, you want to talk about this goof?
We may as well. It's in the title. So I see Nathan Fitzsimmons in the chat too. I'm enrolled in the Nathan Fitzsimmons school of slop titles.
We're knee deep in it.
He's not actually a slop merchant, but there are some out there. Actually, Nathan gave me some good advice today on how to prompt AI. Him and Walker both. But anyway, story for another time. Burry was right about The Big Short. No doubt. Okay, the GFC. He nailed that. There's been movies made about this, and I'm happy to give that guy his flowers. But what has he been right about since? He just admitted like a month ago that he no longer understands the dynamics of the equities market and had to close his fund. So why do I care what this guy says now that he's on a podcast tour? Who gives a shit? He's never right. He's
no longer relevant, I guess, right? Like,
is he? Well, he's still relevant. He's almost like, well, you know what? You know what it's like? It's like, during the NBA season now, they have this thing called Michael Jordan, like wisdom of greatness or something like that. And every game, they let out another 3 minutes of this probably 3-hour interview between Jordan and Mike Tirico. They did it at MJ's house. And Jordan, was really good when he was a basketball player. Best ever, in my opinion. And I just listening to him now talk about stuff like branding and social media. He's got an opinion, but he never lived through it. And so Burry, he's sort of in the same boat for me. He crushed when he needed to, but the things have changed. Passive flows make a huge difference. It's just tons of liquidity injections. There's a broad unwillingness to have an economic downturn, and you can't run a short fund like that. He's not the only short fund that's had trouble or gone under. Citron, famously, same thing a few years ago. They called shorts on so many different things. And I just, I'm like, come on. And now John in the chat is saying that you guys are wrong and not paying attention. His fund got the GameStop long with Roaring Kitty. Okay, he got the GameStop one. I guess, big dub, but he still had to close his fund 3 years later. 4 years later.
Maggie the monkey gets, I guess, better success. And she's fucking spinning a wheel. Right? So, like, I give Maggie her credit because she does what she's got to do. This guy, I'm going to quote him, right? He said, Bitcoin at $100,000 is the most ridiculous thing that sane people are sitting on TV talking about. It's now down to 98,000. That's not actually down to 90,000. It's not worth anything. Everybody accepted it. It's the tulip bubble of our time. It's worse than a tulip bubble.
How can you still be saying tulips?
Well, he thinks it's actually worse than that. So, like, in fact, he's going a little bit further because it has enabled so much criminal activity to go deep under, right? And I get it. There's people have used Bitcoin in the past for criminal activity, but people have used the Canadian dollar, the euro, and the United States dollar for criminal activity, right? How many times have people bought drugs, weapons, smuggled people, shit like this with United States dollar? But nobody's saying, oh, the United States dollar has enabled criminal activity, because they're happily using that in their day-to-day lives, right? So just take a fuck right off, right? So, like, I haven't used Bitcoin for criminal activity. And Joey, I'm pretty sure you haven't either. And the 3 people listening to this show or watching it probably haven't either. So the us 5, and we're a small number, us 5, we don't contribute to that side of things. So that's not the driving factor. What makes Bitcoin. It's the fact that you could hold on to it. It is trustless. It's permissionless. Shit like that. You could use it for drugs. Yeah, but you could use cash for drugs. It doesn't make cash any shittier. No, it's as shitty as it was before that transaction has taken place. But it is what it is. Like, he's just using the same old FUD to basically bury Bitcoin. This guy's gonna be buried in the end, Michael Burry.
Yeah, maybe. There's someone in the chat saying that he's just taking his fund private. No, Scion is their securities license is terminated. They're closed. They closed on the 13th of November. Is when the story dropped anyway. So and Burry himself says he's on to bigger and better things. He placed bets against Palantir and Nvidia. I think about a year or two ago, what did he say? Sell everything or something like that on Twitter. And, the stock market's since close to doubled. I don't know. Like, this guy has a cult following, clearly. And maybe it's deserved. Maybe it's not. I don't know exactly how he played the GFC. I don't know exactly the mechanisms of his short trade on the MBS side in 08. But since then, I mean, where are the wins? Not to say that, again, the one he got wasn't huge. Like, position sizing, especially in investing, is everything. You don't need a big win every year. If you get the biggest win of all time, you may find yourself willing to step away from the game a few years later. But it doesn't seem to me like he's had a lot. And if you look through some of his comments here, like just a quick Google search on things he's been wrong about over the last 4 or 5 years alone. I mean, call it what you want, but I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. If you think that the guy still has it or has a good handle on things or what, do you
think he's still going up to strip joints and trying to get his?
I don't know.
That's an interesting way of.
That wasn't him doing that. That was
whoever fucking did
it was
that.
Steve Carell's character. I forget his name, but yeah, Burry was the sort of eccentric stock trader. Mix. I see you in the chat saying he's going private. If that's the case, it doesn't mention that here in the Reuters article. And whether he goes private or stays public or shuts down, it doesn't change the most public incorrect calls he's made over the last 2 years. And I don't know. To me, it seems to me like an abdication a little bit, but I guess we'll find out what he does over the next year or two, what he does. I am interested in hearing him go on podcasts. Like I want him to go on a podcast like All In, where they would give him his flowers. They're also guys who think differently in a lot of ways, and maybe he gets to talk a bit about what he's got going on and what he's thinking about doing next. I would like to hear that. I don't want to hear him on Odd Lots or any of these other shitty financial podcasts. So, yeah, there you go.
I'd rather hear Lenny Dykstra.
Or Garth Turner. Garth Turner, Will in the chat, by the way, had a segment, I think, on a nightly news show. Did he not? I'm pretty sure he did.
Maybe
He
that
did.
guy's been kind of
Seems I'm having like a dinner at Nona's fever dream here. Like a Garth Turner was on the 6 o'clock news once in a while on CTV,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Anyways, let's talk about Blockstream Jade, right? And if you're a user of this device, listen up because this information is for you. You should take note. Blockstream Jade, they have released a firmware 1.0.38. It's a security update that just came out very recently. And what this does, it prevents a bad actor who has access. They have to have access to your Jade, and that is stopping them from rolling back the firmware to an older version that has known vulnerabilities. So there are idiots out there, they're even being tricked into clicking shit and following instructions from an attacker. Even if they do that, still with this newest update, it'll prevent them from doing it because the newest firmware prevents them, just stops them completely from reverting to an earlier version of the firmware. And Blockstream says that all its users, they should only pair Jade with the Blockstream app, a Blockstream service, or a trusted third-party platform, and those are what they need to be safe. So if you're running 1.0.36, you're likely safe, but to be certain, run 1.0.38, and that makes you for certain that you're going to be protected against that type of attack that's rolling back of a previous or an older version of firmware. And they say that only pair Jade with Blockstream app. That's the only way you could do that to update, like I said, and trusted third party to update your stuff. As for the Jade Plus, also the 1.0.38 fixes not just a rollback, but it also improves the speed of the camera on the device. So it makes it better for using it in day-to-day purposes. And also the speed of air gap transactions are going to be 30% faster. All this being said, I know they're cheap devices. Jade Plus not so, but the Jade
are they inexpensive? Really? What does a Jade cost?
The Jade is cheap. Okay. The Jade Plus is not. I don't recommend either or, but if you are using it, it's highly recommend you to keep this shit up to date, because if they do end up in the hands of a bad actor, they could fuck you up. Now, keep note, they have to have physical access to the device.
Yeah.
So keep it safe. That's another way to keep your fun safe. But
yeah, look for the original Jade isn't even for sale on the website anymore, I don't think. So Jade Plus only now, $200 Canadian, or a little shy of $200 Canadian.
There you go.
Not sure I love that wallet. I do like the software update though. This is good, right? What are the things we always hear from the people who say hardware wallets are not secure? There's one common thread between all those attack commentary.
If they get a physical access to it with enough time and effort.
Exactly. Yeah.
Even the cold card, you have to put a lot of resources to get in. But they can break in even an iPhone with enough time and effort. You can get into anything.
Yeah. So I like this. I think it's great. And people, let's face it, if they have a Jade, maybe they don't want to upgrade, right? They just want a device that works and is safe and secure. So, I'm actually not a huge fan of telling people they need to get a new device for something that should be done by a software update. You know who's bad for that is Ledger and Trezor. They're bad for that. They add a little bit of a little bit of polish on the physical device side. Those new Trezor safes or whatever, the quantum ones, that's a nice looking hardware wallet. But what are you really getting from that you can't get through a software update? The answer is really not much, depending on how you view the quantum update and whether you think it's required now. Some people, including Nick Carter, writing about how this is a lot closer than people think. I've yet to dig into that, but I should. Anyway, the point is that, they're sort of pushing you to buy a new device, right? And the old device is not necessarily obsolete. It's the difficult battle that wallet providers have to fight with themselves, right? Cold Card, same thing. CoinKite's also having this problem, I would guess. Who's buying a Q to upgrade from an MK4? Is it 30% of people?
I have no idea.
It's not high, is what I would suggest. And you and I talk about what do we say all the time? How often should you be looking at your Bitcoin wallet or handling your Bitcoin wallet, your signing device? Almost never. You have something that generates addresses, and unless you're sending, why do you care what kind of hardware wallet you have? As long as it's secure, there's been no issues found with it, and there's no obvious way to break the device. Sit on it. You don't have to worry about it. And upgrading becomes difficult.
You talked about the quantum words, the quantum word.
Yeah.
Trezor with the quantum. Like, I don't.
You
Really
know, I don't want to say the Trezor thing, whatever, but the quantum thing, Len.
Well,
I really do think it's a lot closer.
If you're looking at the sky and Nick Carter's there and his star is rising, has it reached a point where quantum is a reality, or is it still far from that point? Is it like kind of just getting over the horizon and it hasn't reached the fucking?
I forgot about the stars rising thing. Did you maybe I'll do a deep dive on this sometime with someone on the show, but I do want to start thinking about it, because I do think that the one thing that in Bitcoin we realize we can't think about is sort of non-linear. Anything that's non-linear, humans have a hard time with. So exponential thinking, exponential growth. I think that compute is really getting into an accelerant period now on this front. And it seems to me that the big players are going to make a move soon on quantum. And what I keep hearing is that this is actually not a bad theory. Again, it's not my theory. I'm not a proponent of the theory necessarily. I just think it's a cool thought experiment. The government of the United States thinks they're going to get quantum first, and to prove it, they're going to put the Satoshi coins in the strategic reserve. And that's going to be the eye-opening moment for a lot of people. And I think that that's a possibility that that we see that in the next, I don't know, 5 years, 7 years, something like that.
Our esteemed Canadian ministers are going to be meeting in Montreal in the next few days, talking about AI and quantum, Joey. So maybe you should.
Evan Sullivan going to be there? He's talking about quantum?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's going to be there. There might be some art over there. I have no idea. But at the very least, I know that they're going to be talking about AI and quantum. So our government they are on the ball with that stuff. And they are going to be able to talk
about
How many
qubits we got in the in the Canadian government server hub, whatever you call it? How many qubits are we working with there? Are we running on qubits over there? Or are we still running on MS-DOS? I get the feeling we're running on MS-DOS.
I think it's still kilohash per second. Still a while. Yeah.
The hard drives are still spinning over there, buddy. We got a long way to go.
So, P-Man is saying that with Ledger, to go back to the story we talked about, he says that with their firmware updates, if you don't update it, you can't get access to your funds to transfer. How about that? How about
that's if you don't have your keys. As long as you have your keys, your seed phrase, you can do whatever you want. So,
but if you're relying
again, this is what I'm saying. They force you into this way of thinking, like, oh, you can't. And some people, I'm not saying you think this, P-Man, but I think some people look at those updates from Ledger and go, wow, my device is no longer taking software updates. I got to get a new one because I won't be able to get my, shitcoin or whatever. I think a lot of people do think like that. And it's a good marketing ploy for the low IQ quintile,
Ledger, let's talk about them. You got to love those guys. And remember, they had the limited edition, the hats with the pouch in it where you could store the Ledger device in it. I love that.
Yeah.
Wearing that, not only would get the shit kicked out of you, because let's be honest, if you're in public with that, you're just asking for an ass kicking, but it also shows you have shitty fashion as well. And with those people out there that don't have enough fashion and wearing this, clearly you don't have enough sense, depending on how you look at it. And you're just asking for anybody to fucking go out there, steal your hat, your device, and increase their Bitcoin and shitcoin gains. And the story of the week is Ledger. They decided to partner up with Lamborghini, and
you can't make it up.
And there it is now. I can't believe this is deal like a new branded Lamborghini Bitcoin wallet, and nothing screams that I haven't been laid this fucking decade by having a Ledger wallet that has the Lambo symbol on it. These guys, you are fucking nuts if you're gonna buy it. Toss that shit in your Ledger hat too. Like, you gotta go the extra mile. Wear that Ledger hat with the Lamborghini Ledger in it, and you're automatically going to be entered into the incel society's inner walls. They'll fucking usher you in, and you're part of the crew over there. Ledger says that the Lamborghini X Ledger stacks will hit the road early 2026. Lamborghini X Ledger. The question is why? I don't know. Each of these signers, they come with their custom packaging with the branded magnet folio. Let's don't forget that the 1.1 million email addresses were leaked, around 272,000 records containing full names, addresses, physical address, phone numbers. This is back in June of 2020. Clearly, they don't have your privacy in mind. They have fucked around numerous times with holding on to information they shouldn't be handing it off to other people. Fuck them. I can't believe they're doing this. Don't do it. Don't.
Who's worse? Thing. Who's worse for this? The Lamborghini people or the Ledger people?
The Ledger.
Okay.
It's like a Lamborghini. It's Volkswagen, right? They're dying for any money, right? So if somebody comes to them with a partnering, they'll fucking do it, right? If we fucking offered them, they would have partnered up with us, right? All we had to do was just pony up like what 1.1 billion. Say, look, we'll give you some money. You could pretend to put a battery plant, and then we'll call it a day after a few weeks. You don't have to do anything. They'd fucking do it. They could be the CBP battery plant, CBP EV.
As long as we don't go bankrupt inside of year one, yeah, we should be okay. I don't have a problem with like either company doing this because this is what I expect from these people. Like what I'm not surprised. I'm not disappointed. It's just what else do you expect? Ledger had the bucket hat. Bucket hats on their own are annoying. But when you add something to dangle your hardware wallet from on the bucket hat, you're entering in like a new stratosphere of annoying.
They gotta dangle that somewhere, right? They gotta fucking.
I guess. I mean,
tie it that are schlong.
Didn't Ledger also? Was it Ledger or was it another hardware wallet provider? Didn't they also have a way for you to display NFTs on a necklace? I think it was them.
Oh my fucking! I can't even remember. That's so.
Yeah, because I remember the NBA All-Star game one year. Some of the players had like NFTs hanging around their neck. You know, it's just like a light up. It's like an LED, iPad mini, whatever.
On Twitter, you were able to.
Oh, yeah.
That was so bad.
You couldn't talk about Islamic rape gangs, but you could have an NFT display picture. That was like peak woke retard mode on Twitter. That was the top of the fucking mountain for idiocy.
So here's the question. Wilhelm is saying that when OnlyFans Ledger.
Yeah, good question.
That's I could see something like that. Maybe paying an OnlyFans model to do something with it, right?
Porn star? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
This is the next thing, right?
Nothing is out of the realm of possibility. The Overton window is hundreds of yards wide at this point over at the Ledger creative department. Nothing is off the table.
Could you imagine being at that boardroom table discussing and throwing around ideas?
You can say anything. Right? You say anything.
Exactly. Yeah. Nothing is going to be laughed at. Everyone is going to be added to the notes. Okay, good idea. We'll rank this later on. We'll throw it into ChatGPT and see which one is going to be the biggest winner.
See what the bot thinks.
Oh, fuck. Did I disappear?
No, you're still there. I see you.
Oh, okay. My computer. Okay. Anyways. Are you going to be buying into this 21 Capital stuff?
What do you think? You mean the visionary Jack Mallers who had all these great ideas about ways to improve Bitcoin and things were going to be crazy. He was going to be the pioneer. And then it turns out, he actually didn't do any of it. He just started a Bitcoin treasury company. Oh, and he did it with Cantor Fitzgerald, the guy who works for the government now. Oh, and he did it with Tether, the world's biggest stable. Like, talk about it. So, yeah, Masterson, flop. Fucking flop.
There's some big names that are
huge names.
Yes, right. And they are going live tomorrow, Joey. Tomorrow, it's going live on the New York Stock Exchange, not the Nasdaq, the New York Stock Exchange. $3.6 billion SPAC. SPACs used to be all the rave as 4 years ago. They stopped in terms of frequency, and the ticker is going to be XXI. And why on the New York Stock Exchange? It has to be because of their affiliation with Cantor Fitzgerald and SoftBank, right? Because of it has to be that. But what is 21 Capital? Well, they want to be, or they say, capital efficient Bitcoin accumulation company, another treasury company. Yay. Anyways, they have the two metrics they're going to be using: the Bitcoin per share. And that's pretty easy to figure out what the fuck that is. And then the Bitcoin return rate, the BURR, and that's the rate at which the BPS, the Bitcoins per share, grows over time. So that's a derivative of that. Whatever. At least they're not talking about fucking torque.
Not yet. Sailor didn't start talking about torque until last year. Give it time.
Bitcoin yield and all that shit. I'm not saying these guys are better or worse. They're all garbage, in my opinion. And these guys, they have a little over 42,000 Bitcoin, 43,000 Bitcoin on a balance sheet already. And I would imagine more to come in a not too distant future.
Yeah.
So, if anybody want to buy another treasury company, You have an opportunity tomorrow. You can get wrecked.
I will not be buying this, and I recommend no one put their money in something like this. Like again, I'm not necessarily against investing in treasury companies. If you want to do that, do it. But I would suggest to you that the most important thing to consider is whether or not you think they're going to wind up better than MSTR. The likelihood is basically zero. So why keep pretending that like these other companies are going to be as big a hit as MSTR was? And by the way, what's MSTR down the last 6 months? 50% more? He's talking about selling his Bitcoin. Now he's going on TV talking about how MNAV is below 1. The rational thing is to either trade derivatives or I should say sell derivatives or sell the Bitcoin. Like, he wasn't saying that a few years ago. And if you think Jack Mallers has the wherewithal, the intellectual firepower and the team around him to outgun MSTR, okay. The only thing that really, to me, does sort of lend itself to a bullish thesis is Lutnick is involved. He's in the government. So
that should make you run far from it too at the same time.
I don't know.
Like, yeah, I'm bullish. And man, something just doesn't.
Lutnick's in the government. Does that mean that you should buy it? Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, Pablo, I'm going to put this comment up. Such a shame to see the opt-out culture of Bitcoin turn into a buy my stock narrative. Everybody's about fiat gains. Like
not no one, everyone. There's still
all the people. Like how do you explain this from Mallers outside of he cares more about fiat gains? He's waiting to vest. Like it's like it's so obvious all this stuff is going on at all these treasury companies. And again, like I said before, there's a lot of people who I like who are all in on this stuff, but I don't think a lot of this makes it through a very baseline rudimentary level of scrutiny. You have to be better than MSTR if you think you're going to get capital. And so if you become a forced seller because you're not like MSTR and can't handle a 50% drawdown in the price or a 30% or 40% drawdown in the price, what do your shareholders get out of that? They just get
it all boils down to
torched.
You could either be better than, worse than, or different than. Those are the three options.
Yeah.
To be different, I don't know how. So they're either going to try to be better or worse. Those are really what they're aiming to be. And I think they're trying to be better. But how do you get better? I don't really give a shit. This is just more of a talking point.
It's just difficult.
People like these treasury companies.
Yeah. Like it's a difficult thing to sell, is it not? And like the other thing, Len, is who's buying these? Like who's buying these stocks?
I don't know. But
you already had. It might have been Bailey himself, but somebody on the Naka team saying we should all just be buying each other's stocks.
Yes, you were saying that.
You're already, that's where you are right now in the market for these things. So why do you think it's a good idea to put another one on the exchange? Like, what is your differentiator? Like you said, I don't know.
And you know what? And my opinion too. I just want to one thing I got to say. I don't care. I'm not against these companies buying Bitcoin. I'm not for it. I'm just not going to buy into it. Any company could do what they want within the rules. And it's certainly within the rules to buy Bitcoin. There's nothing saying they can't do it. And if they want to buy and if they want to sell later on to it, all the more power to them. It's just, I'm not using it as an investment for myself, period. But I'm not against this. I'm just not for it. I'm just indifferent to this stuff. I just don't want people to look at this and think, wow, it's going to be my way to become richer. It might, but maybe it won't. The fuck, like, right? Look at how much comparatively the price of MSTR has gone down compared to the price of Bitcoin.
Yeah,
there's a gap there. Now, going up, there was also a gap too. MSTR really outperformed Bitcoin. But look at also like Naka you mentioned. Man, it was like at $25 or something, and now it's like what, 50 cents?
Yeah, it's like, very low.
That's in just like 6 months or so, give or take. Like that was the Bitcoin paper summer. Man, that's fine. People got wrecked if they bought at the top and they're still holding on to it. That's too bad. Imagine if they just bought Bitcoin instead. They'd be down. They'd be down 30, 40%. I don't know what how much this is the top, but they'd be much better position and they'd have total access to their funds wherever they are in the world. and nobody's going to stop them from using it or from sending it to wherever they want. There's nobody they have to ask. There's no permission they need. Bitcoin is far superior, in my opinion, than what you're getting with any of the other things. But I'm just fucking saying the same thing over and over again. Let's talk about the more degenerated degen stuff, because leveraged stuff is what degens absolutely love. And leverage stuff works great until it doesn't, and then when you're liquidated, right?
Put it on the t-shirts, baby. Put it on the t-shirts.
But in the fiat world, leverage just means massive losses to your portfolio for using some of these leveraged ETFs. And the SEC decided that enough is enough, and these 5x crypto ETFs, they say, are going to wreck people. 5x. So they decided to block these 5x ETFs from becoming a reality, Joey. At least they decided to do it now, but who knows? Maybe they'll change their minds later on, because nothing's for sure. Direction, ProShares, and Tidal Financial. Those are the three companies they were told no for now for the filings with the SEC for these 5x holdings. Also, after being told this, ProShares decided to close off their previously offered 3x ETFs on Bitcoin and the other digital assets. And I don't get what's the SEC's decision here. Like, I understand what they're trying to do, but I mean, think about it. They're preventing a trader out there from turning a Wendy's wage into a Lambo overnight, right? That's what they're stopping here. It's too bad they're doing that. But the reality is, let's be honest, these leverage ETFs, they're terrible, right? Their leverage is terrible, period. In the fiat world, this piece of shit. People are going to get wrecked. Just buy Bitcoin, be happy with what you have. That's that. I mean, the world is full. There's billions of no-coiners and pre-coiners out there. I'm not happy with how much Bitcoin I have, and I'm sure everybody's in the same position. Mm-hmm. But I'm satisfied knowing that I have more Bitcoin. Just today, what I earned in Bitcoin was more than what all these no-coiners and pre-coiners have. That keeps me happy. And with that, I'm not happy with my total Bitcoin stack, but I'm always happy that I have more tomorrow than today, and more than just about more other people out there that have nothing, actually.
The question I have for you and for the audience it's not about whether or not investing in these things is a good idea. Like, I obviously don't use leverage anywhere, but should they be allowed is a different question. And I think they should be allowed.
So you're on the side of the fence, and I don't care. I just don't want people to use it.
Yeah.
But you're on the side of the fence. You want to have somebody that earning Wendy's make potentially that Lambo.
I think they should. I think they should be allowed. Yeah. I think that people should be able to buy the things that they think give them a chance to make money. And I think if you start banning or disallowing stuff like leverage ETFs, while I can still bet on the color of Shedeur Sanders' shoelaces, in the Week 15 Browns game, I mean, how can we square these things? One of these is too risky and too degenerate, but the other is allowed to be done on your phone without even showing ID. You just need like a credit card number.
Is there any walled fence that they have to cross in order to be allowed to offer those betting on the color of the shoes, or could anybody do it? Because
color of the shoes is an exaggeration, but you could bet how many rushing yards in a quarter for a Browns running back. Like,
the ones that administer that. Do they have to ask for permission, or they could just do it?
I think they're working with the leagues. The leagues, by the way, you don't watch sports, but they're not like the SEC. There's a difference. It's a league is a league. They're just out there for money. No, it's fine. But the Securities and Exchange Commission is an arm of the government, and the government says what you can and can't do when it comes to gambling and degenerate behavior. So again, porn, no problem. Gambling on Shedeur Sanders over or under 75 first quarter yards, no problem. Buying a levered ETF, that's where they draw the line. 50-year mortgage, no problem. Levered ETF, too much. Isn't the answer that one of these things is a little bit different than the others, right? Like, if you look at the mortgage, it props up a failing system, but they can't have you losing all your money on levered ETFs. They'd rather have you losing all your money on the mortgage so that you at least keep housing prices high. Like, anyone thinking about this for more than a second realizes what the line is. The line is, are you helping the Ponzi or are you not helping the Ponzi?
Like, as I mentioned, they could change their mind. They're saying no today, but tomorrow,
maybe.
Who knows? Yeah. Depending on which way the political winds are blowing, they could easily change their mind. And if they do, like, whatever, I don't give a fuck. People up there, they're gonna use this as they'll try to accelerate their gains. And you know what happens in the end? Bitcoin goes down by $1,000, $2,000 in an instant, and then fuck, they're just essentially wiped out. It sucks. It sucks that people are put in this position. They have no hope with their given employment to make ends meet. So they have to find other ways. Fucking really, not just rolling their dice. You're like they're rolling 1,000 dice, trying to get something good. And that one guy does it, but the other 999,000 they got fucking wrecked. And we all look at that one guy that did it, 1 in a million. Oh fuck, I want to be.
Yeah, that guy. But I mean, Len, that's the 1 in a million thing. Again, like I don't think it's a reason to ban the product. It's not. Can you not bet levered everything else on the stock market? You got levered MSTR, levered IBIT, levered everything. So why stop here? Like that's my question.
Well,
what is the problem?
From what I gather, the 2x is fine. It's anything beyond that they don't want to.
Yeah.
They don't want to do 3, 4, 5. They had 3 until recently, but then ProShares pulled that. They just don't want to do the 5. That's for them. That is a bridge too far to cross for them.
Yeah. Like I have a problem with where the bridge is being built, I guess, more than anything.
Or how the bridge is being built. That's my fucking problem. Bitmain, let's talk about them.
Sure.
They appear to be under investigation by the Department of Homeland Security, Joey. And this is massive because Bitmain is huge in the Bitcoin mining game. If you talk about Bitcoin mining, Bitmain is it. I think this 40% of the market share of mining rigs is belonging to Bitmain. And so the operation was called Operation Red Sunset. Love it. It was trying to determine if Bitmain poses a risk of espionage or sabotage to U.S. critical infrastructure. And there's a thought that these rigs, these S19, S21s, maybe S9s, that are created by Bitmain, right? They could be manipulated by China as a way to enable surveillance or disrupt the U.S. power grid.
Come on.
And there are reports even that devices that were shipped to the United States were being seized at U.S. ports. And they're saying there's the potential to have these deployed near strategic locations like military bases and government-linked facilities. And this all followed a Senate Intelligence Committee. Back in July, this report came out, by the way. It warned that Bitmain devices present, quote, several disturbing vulnerabilities. And they say it could potentially be controlled all the way from China. Bitmain's out there saying, no, this isn't the case. They are obviously denying any of this. But this might potentially open a door for stuff like Block's Proto-Rig. We talked about that, I believe, last week. Those are the modular Bitcoin mining machines. Those are currently being manufactured in Taiwan. And there's thoughts that they want to bring that manufacturing to U.S. soil. If that all plays out the way they're talking about it's going to be, Bitmain, if they still say, look, this is potentially espionage and shit like that, that's going to really give a boost for Block's Proto-Rig. Interesting to see how this plays out.
I agree that it will give a boost to domestic miner manufacturing, but the question is it earned? And I don't think that it is. I'd be curious to know where this is coming from. You know, what is the genesis of this claim that Bitmain is, through Bitcoin mining rigs, going to damage or potentially damage U.S. energy infrastructure?
There is now a growing movement of governments looking at devices that they have that were purchased abroad from China, and they're trying to, if it's going to be like Wi-Fi, shit, like stuff like that, they're trying to make an effort to try to have it, if at all possible, if there's an American or a somebody that's, you know, the G7 nation that produces it, they're going to go ahead with those type of things because there seems to be an effort to go anti-China, at least right now.
Anti-China,
and that's part of the whole anti-China thing.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, but my question is still, what is the mechanism through which these guys think this is possible? Turning on spyware in a Bitcoin. Have they seen a Bitcoin miner?
You can't hear shit in there. It's not like if they had microphones, they would be able to. All you hear is a fucking fan blowing.
That's a good point.
And if there's a camera, all you'd see is fucking just other Bitcoin.
You just see a man
right?
a man with a helmet that says Pierre on it, holding up a device. I can't hear what he's saying, but you can see him.
He's knee deep in one of those. Which company is he with now? Which treasury company is he?
I forget. Stripe.
That's the one.
I don't know. I love Pierre. Pierre will never get it. He'll never enter into my bad books ever. It'll never happen.
He's always been fiat. If he was with Bitcoin mining, and let's be honest, those are fiat. So whatever. Bitmain, they're no longer on the good side of things. There's a $5 wrench attack that took place this past week. And in this case, it wasn't Bitcoin that was stolen, but there's a Bitcoin tied to all this. This one happened in Trinidad, by the way. And people might be rolling their eyes about the location. And yeah, I get it, but it's still a good learning experience for everybody out there. Let somebody else pay the price and you get the free education. 52-year-old dude wanted to buy some Bitcoin off somebody, and he wanted to buy off somebody, 33-year-old. And these guys have been doing business for some time, few years, in fact. So there was an element of trust that was gained through all these transactions. So they met at the parking lot of a pharmacy. Doesn't seem like a bad place to do it. Buddy brought cash with him to buy the Bitcoin, almost 13,000 USD in cash. It's a lot of fucking cash in any country, never mind Trinidad. After the money was handed over, a couple of goons then approached the car with guns, and they demanded the money. They took cash along with the cell phones that were stolen from both of the guys. So I'm not sure if the 33-year-old guy was in on it, because he had his shit stolen. Either way, peer-to-peer exchanges. Look, you have to be careful when you're making and dealing cash, right?
Yes, sir.
So it's not like they could do anything. Well, actually, maybe the guy got the 13,000 right stolen, so but he still had his Bitcoin, right? Unless somehow the thieves got access to the phone and were able to get access to the wallet, move it out. But if not, the only guy that lost out here was a 52-year-old that lost at 13K, right? So maybe they could call the CEO of Bitcoin, and he could create 13,000 worth of Bitcoin and give it to him, and everybody's happy. But this just goes to show you, like, when you're doing an exchange in cash, you got to be very careful. Look at your surroundings. Do it in an area that you're not going to get mugged, and be very careful. And the thing is, once you have the Bitcoin in its exchange and it's been broadcast, then you're okay. But until then, it's dicey. I know people, this is the kind of shit that happens when they put guardrails and make it harder to use exchanges.
Agreed. Great point.
Too bad.
Great point.
So, and I hope we don't find more of these, but people out there, learn from this guy's mistake. I feel bad for him, but it happened.
Isn't the other problem too that when you agree to sell or buy Bitcoin, sell especially Bitcoin for cash, what does the person know about you right away? They know that you're going to be accessing your stack in the next, between the time you agree to sell the Bitcoin and the time you go to give the Bitcoin for cash. Like, you're vulnerable there. Then you're vulnerable on the drive from your house to the place. Then you're vulnerable at the place. Then you're vulnerable from the place back home. Like there's so many gaps in OPSEC here that you should never be doing this, number one. Number two, here in Canada, I don't know what it's like in the States for the Americans who listen to the show, or the number of people around the world. I just listened to our Spotify Wrapped thing the other day. Hilarious, where all these people are listening from. The question I have, for people in Canada is, where do you go to sell stuff or buy stuff on like Kijiji or Marketplace? For me, I go to the police station. There's a police station not far from me, fire hall not far from me, like I've said before, because they have like open areas where you can go and buy or sell stuff to people. They want you to go and do it in there. But in Trinidad, somehow I doubt that they have that same offering. So I don't know. Where do you go to buy and sell stuff? You're a Marketplace guy, aren't you?
I haven't done much in a while, but you're 100% right. There is a police station in Burlington, and they have a parking lot there where they have signs there, do your exchanges here.
Mm-hmm.
So they're encouraging people to do, like, if you're buying or selling tires, for instance, do it there, because you're literally a yell away from the police. You see them driving in and out. They're walking to their cars. There's windows to the station. So if something happens, they'll come out, you hope, to protect you. So So that's where I would do it. Like, and I totally agree with you 100%. Do it at like a spot, like a police station. I like the one in Burlington because it's specifically designed. It looks like it's made for that type of transaction. They encourage you to do it because if there's one less person that gets robbed, that's one less thing they got to deal with. And
would you ever sell or buy Bitcoin for cash?
Potentially.
Even there, I wouldn't do it. No way.
Potentially, yeah.
No way.
I'm not gonna say yes or no, but
it's just there's too many questions. I wouldn't do it.
Fair.
Yeah.
Let's do one last story, and gotta love Binance and their initiative here to lure young degens into this space because I can't believe this fucking shit is real. By the way, Binance Junior been released. It's a parent-controlled app, and it's a sub-account for kids and teens. It was just recently launched. And in the promotional video, it talks about a crypto account for your child, where parents can send Bitcoin and shitcoins to kids, and the parents could send limits on how this is being used. So essentially, it's a sub-account of a main account. And essentially, if you look at it, it's aka another account that could get banned in the future. And they say the child could get API payouts in from Binance Earn, so they can learn about like shit like
God, that's so brutal. So brutal.
Young users aged between 6 and 17 could get on board and start using this.
Like 6 years old.
Could
6
you
years
imagine?
old.
That's
so what are the only things you're like if you're 6 years old and living in like is this an American product?
That's a good question. I don't know where it's being offered, which countries.
So what can you do if you're 6? You can't vote, but you can go on Binance or you can get a sex change, but you can't vote. You can do any of those other things. So.
Hang on, there was an FAQ, and I think it did say where it's located.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if it was available in the United States or Canada.
It doesn't really fucking matter. Like it just, so it's just fucking bullshit that they're doing this. And Joey, you have a young one. When she turns 6, are you going to set up Binance?
No, there's never going to be Binance Junior on any of the screens in this house.
Okay, let's see. Age 14 plus. It doesn't say. It just says where it's available by certain age, like 14 plus, 15 plus, and 16 plus. And the United States isn't listed in any of them, but they say it starts at age 6. So, yeah. Wonder if it's available in Canada.
God, I hope not. So. I hope not. Probably not. Isn't it banned here? I thought Binance was banned here, banned everywhere.
Yeah. I think Ontario kicked them out, and as a result, every other province.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
All right. That's it for the Bitcoin side of things.
Sure. Okay. If you're on audio, come back tomorrow. If you're on video, live with us, stay here. We're not going anywhere. We'll see you on the other side. Take care of yourselves.
And don't download Bitcoin Junior. What the fuck are you doing if you are doing that?